So remember, Mother's Day is a really good promotion. Remember, what's always the best marketing? The best marketing is always the marketing that elicits the highest emotion. That's the best marketing. That's why Valentine's Day is best. That's why Mother's Day is best. That's why Food Day goes real well. People want to help people suffering. Basically that's an exchange of food for an adjustment, food that goes to a food bank to help underprivileged kids. See, everybody wants to help underprivileged or people who are suffering or sympathy. That's always where you give that's where always you're going to have the highest emotional appeal. And even on a more finite level, generally speaking, that's why it'll work a lot better with women than men. Generally speaking, men are a little more cognitive. Now, there's obviously a lot of variables. How much of an injury do they have? How much it's affecting their lifestyle? All that. But I'm just at the bare bones, it's just going to be easier to deal with women just because they're going to be more emotional than the men. That's it. And then you go into all the other factors. You go, okay, well, they spend time and money on their problems. Men don't. Men ignore their problems. So it's hard again, unless it's their work or their hobby. And then you go into age. You go, well, what's the likelihood? If you got somebody over 40, they don't have any back pain, neck pain, headaches, arthritis, joint pain, old injuries at all. Well, man, I'd hate to do a study, but if you put 100 people in the room, how many people don't have any problem? You're probably only looking at 10%. I'm talking about people over 40. So again, Mother's Day we're also going to be talking about people who are in their 30s or over 40, because remember, mothers also includes grandmothers. Okay. So all of these things start to line up even better. That's irrelevant to the problem or the severity of the problem. So you can already position yourself really well just by these factors alone. And that's what happens with Mother's Day. You got generally older people, women who take responsibility, who visit the doctor more. That's a statistic. Women visit the doctor more. Women visit doctors on average 6 times a year. 6. They visit the doctor more. They pay attention to their health. They'll spend money on their health. They'll spend time on their health. That's why, okay? So having said that, let's go into this Mother's Day promotion. I'm going to spend a little more time into establishing need, just to kind of refresh your memory on establishing your need, because you have to be a black belt at it. It's got to get the muscle memory because it happens real fast. And you're the one that's got to lead the conversation. And what happens when you don't lead it and you pause, like you're stopping to think of what to say next, they just take off on you. They don't take off in the direction you want them to go. If you haven't noticed that yet, they'll take off on you, just going in a direction you don't want them to go. And then you have to learn how to reel them back, see? So that's why it's real important that you know how to lead somebody, and it's muscle memory. So also there's no pausing, so you can, just keep them moving forward in the direction you want them to go. So, but when you get good at it, it's a lot of new patients. Man, I tell you, we trained our staff really good, and it was just down the muscle memory. I mean, they could go through an established need just as quickly as they could say their name. And boom, they were just knocking out new patients left and right. Now, it's not everybody, the odds are not everybody they talk to comes in, okay? But we're talking about high probability target market. Remember, all marketing starts with a high probability target market. Well, your patient's mom or grandmother. So there's already high third-party trust already. And it's very easy to find out through your patient if their mom or grandmother is having any kind of problem. It's very easy. And especially if it's a woman. Remember, women, a daughter knows her mom's problems. I will guarantee you that. Men, not as much, unless it's like their mom's problems are more severe. But a daughter knows her mom's problems, and the daughter knows the grandmother's problems. You can be assured of that.